Welcome to Coach's Corner for this week, and we have a good show for you this week. The high school wrestling season winds down with the regional wrestling tournament last weekend and state coming up this week. And a guy that is very familiar with wrestling at the state tournament, our head coach Jason Leavitt, is our guest. The Ponca City Wrestlers qualified 3 wrestlers for the regional tournament. And Coach, I know 3 is not your goal one day, but it's 2 more than last year, and it's probably more than most people thought you would get through to this year's tournament.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody gave us any prayer to even get one in. Just the sense of, the feelings on it. But, our kids went out there and proved a lot of people wrong. And, we had a couple opportunities to get a few more guys in. So we just missed out by just narrow margin
right
there.
So. Well, I want to talk about those 3, but you mentioned you had an awful lot of guys that started the tournament with a loss and had to wrestle back several times, and you told me one of the things you're most proud of is that you guys did pick up the pace Friday night and into Saturday and had some great wins.
Yes, we did. We had 7 kids with the top seed out of the tournament right off the bat, and then we had 3 kids with the number 2 seed right away. So you're looking at some challenging matches that, one we either got to overcome or we just, go out there and not take it to them, But I thought they bounced back well in the consolations, wrestled hard every match. We were in matches to win them, and to be honest with you, we get them to the regional tournament. It's the best they wrestle all year, and that's what you want.
That's what you're trying to do right there. I mean, whatever the formula is, and sometimes, maybe coaches don't realize what that formula is, but I'm sure you'll look back and analyze what happened this season. But that's all coaches want is for regional wrestling time, everybody in their top weight class.
Absolutely, and it's a young team, and they call it a peaking time of the season, which last week, the week of regionals, we try to pull them back and just focus on weight and cleaning up some technique. Really, just go back to basics and help correct those situations. And that's about all you can do on that week. So.
You have an awful lot of kids that kind of thrown in the deep end because that's a big tournament that a lot of them go through, and the first time it's not easy. But don't you think wrestling in Kansas City and in Perry and in some of those places you go kind of made it easier for them? Because I think in many senses some of those tournaments are actually tougher than a regional or a state tournament.
Yes, they're quite a bit tougher. And, it's hard on some of those tournaments because we got guys that lose a lot of confidence at Kansas City. And, after that we're battling all year to try to help them and get their confidence levels back up, and that's always a challenge. So, there may be some adjustments in that scheduling for next year. So, I don't know. I haven't really decided definitively what we want to do. So.
We have 3 weekend warriors going to the state tournament, and I want to talk about those. Jordan Kimbrell's been part of your program in the 2 years you've been here. He's been a 3-year starter, and for those seniors, I know you're always happy to see those seniors come through, and he did in a big way because nobody really expected him to get to the finals of the tournament.
No, he was drawn in as a number 6 seed, which they take the top 4 out of each weight class, and this was honestly the best I've seen Jordan wrestle in the 2 years I've been here. He was out there aggressive, wrestled very, very smart. And a lot of heavyweight matches, if you don't get the takedown, we want to look to getting off bottom. They may get an escape in the third, however, and then we go in overtime. If we can press in overtime, I think we can win a lot of matches. Now, Jordan, he needs to he needs to work some takedowns this week and really find his stride on taking somebody, one of the top guys, down, and then we shouldn't have a problem getting to the state finals. The way he's wrestling. So,
well, It is tough, and that 285 division, that heavyweight division. If you look at that, all the records of those guys, the guy who wrestles from UConn's got an unbelievable record. That's the thing about the state tournament is that you're going to have to wrestle your very best to even come close to winning a match.
Oh yeah, he had in that heavyweight division. There's a kid from UConn that won the Reno tournament, and then there's a kid from Southmore that won Kansas City. So I mean, it's not a cakewalk bracket. We got some real studs at that weight this year. So everybody's going to have to battle and earn everything they get.
Absolutely. But I know what a great week it's going to be for a senior to know that he's got 1 week left. I'm sure you relate to that too, but a lot of times the seniors, they think they're going to qualify, they don't, and it's the suddenness. He's got another week left, and I bet you he takes advantage of it.
Oh, absolutely, he will. He'll take full advantage of it, and we've got a great group of coaches to really get in there and work with him. Coach Tagliatella, very good at hand fighting with him. That'll be a benefit, and then getting Coach Rowland in there, which he's a great offensive shooter, so that'll get Jordan ready for these guys this weekend.
Absolutely. Dylan Schickram, a little ninth grader, came in there, and boy, he's got a great future, doesn't he, Coach?
He sure does. Dylan, in our semifinals match this weekend, we lost to the guy that eventually won it. We just had a bad start to that match. The first 20 seconds, we just made some errors, but I will give it to him. He fought to the end, and that's what I like to see out of our guys. Even if you get in a hole, you keep fighting to the end, and he did that. Dylan's coming off of winning junior high state, our first junior high state champion in many years, so he's got a good future ahead of him, and it's a funny deal because first term of the year he goes to the Sand Springs Junior High tournament and gets beat out. At the end of the year, he's winning junior high state. He's a high school state qualifier, so I think there's been some improvement with him. Wouldn't you say?
It sinks in, doesn't it? At
Yes,
some
it does.
point, some it's faster than others, but Dylan comes from a wrestling family. His dad wrestled, was a real fine wrestler for Po High, and the wrestling connection is certainly there. And not only did he qualify, Coach, he finished third in the regionals. How does his bracket look, and what do you expect from him?
It looks good. I think that every match, same thing for him. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of guys that were either a state finalist or state placer that we're just going to have to go in there and beat and get some upset wins. We're the underdog, so we don't have any pressure on us.
And the interesting thing, at 106, you're going to see a lot of ninth graders and a lot of sophomores because of the weight. But at 113, you still see some young guys, but a lot of times those older kids, Coach, the seniors and juniors that want to make the state tournament, they'll pull down. Everybody's got good guys at 113 and 120 in those lighter weights.
Yeah.
So he made it at a weight that traditionally a lot of freshmen may not make it at, too.
Absolutely. There's a lot of sophomores in there. Just for instance, a kid from Choctaw was a two-time state runner-up, and he didn't even win our regional tournament.
That's tough.
So
that's tough right there.
Yeah, that's a good bracket.
Absolutely. Now, Austin Fry's your other qualifier, and Austin was kind of mostly in. He's kind of in and out of the lineup this year. I know you played or you wrestled him strategically to keep his confidence high. But again, maybe like Dylan, one of those guys that kicked in late, and he had a good tournament, didn't he?
I can say this about Fry, and to be honest with you, that guy wrestles with a big heart. And if you have heart in this sport and you're willing to work hard, you're going to have as much success as you want. I mean, it's up to him, and he proved that this weekend. He's one of the guys that had a number one seed right off the bat. We get beat by 6 or 7 points the first time. Next time we wrestle him in the consolation finals, we had a chance to beat him. We lose by 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, Fry, he's the kind of guy that it shook his cage a little bit. He disappeared, couldn't find him for a while, so here he comes back, and he's still upset. So he's got a bad taste in his mouth.
He's got a little ornery in him, doesn't he, too? So you see that on the football
Yeah.
field and in the wrestling match, the wrestling mat. But he wasn't seated, was he, Coach?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
You don't see a lot of unseated guys qualify for the state tournament, but he was able to accomplish that. So here we go down to Oklahoma City on Friday. What are the plans? You go down early? You go down that morning? How do you handle that?
We're gonna go down and stay Thursday night. Try to get the boys in the facility, let them walk around, get used to their atmosphere and where they're going to be wrestling. This is a fun time for them. This is about them, and it's time to be a little bit greedy. What do you want to do? You're here, make the most of it. Give yourself an opportunity.
Well, it's eye-opening. Deer in the headlights. A lot of kids will come out there, but if you've never been to the state wrestling championships, there's nothing like it. Tell me your favorite memory of the state wrestling championships back when you were a state champion for the Wildcats, Coach.
My favorite memory of it all is when our team won it. There's nothing like having a team win it. It's fun winning as an individual, but as a team, everybody gets to celebrate. Whether they're qualifier, placer, champion, everybody gets to celebrate. And it's a big deal for our community when it happens. So, and we're not far away from being back in the hunt.
As great as individual championships are, for me, the greatest years of high school wrestling were the years we won the state championship, because the fans, the media, the coaches, everybody follows not just our matches. You follow every match, period, and it's an excitement when you have a chance to win as a team. And I've got to think that's your goal, is to get us back in a position to win a team championship.
Absolutely. Just to talk about our program right now, our youth had a youth state this weekend. We had several state champions on that level, several state placers, some finalists. There's a great group of kids coming up. Our junior high, we had 5 junior high state placers. Champion Dylan Shickram, Jacob Swinson loses to the eventual champion, comes back, and he dominates to get third. He wrestled his tail off. Neba Big Goose, he was one match away from the finals. We had an opportunity to beat the guy that ended up getting a fall in the finals. We were right there. And Chris Humble, he's a 6th grader right now. He looked like a go-getter. Went out and took 4th place. And then Dylan Shickram's little brother, Spencer. He's going to be a kid to watch as well. We got a great group of kids coming, and I'm excited. Everybody just looking at our lineup, and we've been doing this all year long, is 10 of our guys right now are 10 guys that are coming back next year. And then after that, 8 of them come back the year after that. But we got other guys to reload in there. So,
well, the brother thing is what I think is really cool, and you were part of that because you had brothers that wrestled. But during our great years, even going back into the '80s when you had the Wilson brothers, and our greatest years were when we had families who produced multiple wrestlers, and you're telling me that we've got some father-son and some brother combinations that are going to be coming through that our fans are going to recognize.
Oh yeah, you've got the Burdicks, the Swinsons, the Shickrams. There's just a lot of names in there you're gonna hear about. Austin Burdick's one that he should have been a qualifier.
Right.
We just had hard luck this weekend in one of our matches, and there's just not much you can do there.
Well, good weekend, and the state tournament, again, it's cherry on top of the cake, because anything anybody does there is great. If you've reached the state tournament, and I don't mean to say that you don't want to win it, but Coach, if you've reached the state tournament, that's quite an accomplishment.
It is. It's a lot of fun, though.
Absolutely. We'll see you down there. Jason Leavitt, our wrestling coach. State tournament week down in Oklahoma City on this week's Coach's Corner.